A done deal. The new agreement giving St. Louis police officers a raise and how it could bump up pay for other first responders. Plus, nationwide protest against ICE across the U.S. and in our area.
Rain, sun, snow, shine, whatever, I'd still be here protesting.
It really gives us hope. It's a time when we need that sense of hope.
The local students using their voices to speak out. Plus, the unanimous sentencing agreement for a man convicted of killing a detective. Taken too soon. Police say a Missouri father killed for honking his horn.
As devastating as it is for him to die the way that he died with his daughter.
His family now left to cope with an unthinkable tragedy. We begin tonight with a weather impact alert. Here's a live look over our region on a frigid Friday night. Because of the dangerously cold weather, St. Louis is extending its level 4 code blue alert once again. It's now set to end Sunday morning, which means the city will continue to provide weather resources and support for those who need it. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson. Sunday is also the last day of our weather impact alert. And tonight, meteorologist Lance Walker says warmer days. Yes, warmer days are ahead, Lance.
Yeah, but Kelly, it doesn't take much to get warmer than this.
Exactly.
It is going to be frigid tonight. Of course, we've got that cold Arctic air still moving into our region, and temperatures are falling as a result. The average high this time of year, 42 degrees. How nice would that be, right? We saw 18. That was our daytime high. Our daytime high was lower than our average low. There's some numbers for you on this Friday night. I hope your night's off to a good start. Again, we saw temperatures drop through the teens this evening. We're currently right around that mark here, 14 degrees in town right now. St. Charles at 15 degrees, same for DeSoto. Alton's at 14 and Litchfield checking in at 13 this evening. The cold air sticks around all weekend long. Not ideal for weekend plans, but still, morning temperatures will be the worst, of course. Wind chill values down to -15 to start out the day. It'll get better during the afternoon hours. So tomorrow morning through about 8 to 9 a.m., that's the worst of it. By about noon to 2 o'clock, though, we should be in a little bit better territory. Still be bundled up, though, extra layers. You want to cover any exposed skin, especially during those morning hours. So we talked about this. There is a change in the forecast coming into next week. We'll talk about how much warmer, or at least less cold, we're going to be as we move through the 7-day forecast in about 10 minutes.
And you can track our forecast anytime you need it. Text the word weather to 314-425-5355. We are following breaking news in the death penalty phase of the Kenneth Lee Simpson trial. Less than an hour ago, a jury unanimously recommended Simpson be sentenced to death. The news was confirmed by the Missouri Attorney General's office. It comes nearly a week after Simpson was found guilty of killing Herman Police Detective Sergeant Mason Griffith and wounding Officer Adam Sullumtrop in a gas station in 2023. The judge in the case will issue Simpson's formal sentence at a later date. A North County father shot and killed in front of his young daughter. Police say Edward Johnson's murder happened in broad daylight after an encounter with pedestrians turned deadly. The family is only speaking to 5 on your side's Melanie Johnson.
Kelly killed for honking his horn. That's the motive behind the crime Ferguson Police Chief Troy Doyle calls senseless and unnecessary. The key witness in this case, the victim's only child. A day for daddy's little girl takes a dark turn in Ferguson.
A decision was made to fire shots at a man who's just trying to spend time with his daughter.
Bella Faye Johnson Jr. speaking on behalf of the family of Edward Johnson Jr.
Our dads, our brothers.
His older cousin murdered 10 a.m. Friday morning on January 23rd. Police say Edward Johnson Jr. was shot and killed for honking his horn at 2 pedestrians at the corner of West Florissant Avenue and Canfield Drive.
He's in the car, they're in the street, and blows a horn. Didn't know that would be what would be his demise.
The bullet striking Johnson, leading him to crash into a nearby home. When officers arrived, they found the 52-year-old shot in the driver's seat.
But this is the reality of life on this side of heaven. It is broken. It is depraved.
Johnson's daughter was in the car for every moment.
She saw it all. And she saw her father pretty much take her last breaths. And to go from thinking you're just about to hang out with your dad till now you got to testify and have meetings with police officers to tell them what you saw. And, it's not fair. My memory of him was just how cool he was and how smooth he was and great baseball player. I can look back now and just see that picture with my hand on his shoulder. And
beyond justice, Bella Faye has a driving wish for the little girl grieving the unthinkable.
my hope is that she never forgets that she had a father who loved her.
Ferguson police have arrested this man, DeAndre Spruill Jr. He faces felony second-degree murder charges. Investigators are speaking with other persons of interest tonight, including a second individual who could be charged any day now.
Tonight, 2 Missouri State Highway Patrol officers are recovering in the hospital after a chase down I-70 ended with a head-on crash. It happened near the Cave Springs exit around 9:15 this morning. The Missouri State Highway Patrol says the suspect fled a traffic stop, then headed eastbound in the westbound lanes. One of the troopers drove into the suspect's car to stop them. Another car was also involved in the crash. The suspect then ran away before being caught hours later.
A couple of our troopers took off after him. One of our troopers that was running after him actually, I'm not sure how it happened, but suffered laceration on his leg.
The suspect's identity has not been released, but they say he did have an outstanding felony warrant. The 2 injured troopers are expected to be okay. Today, a St. Louis police officer injured in last Friday's deadly wrong-way crash is out of the hospital. He was one of 2 officers hurt while trying to stop a car that led police on a high-speed chase. Police say Terrell Jackson crashed into the officers on I-70 and 64. 2 people in his car were killed. Jackson is facing several charges, including 2 counts of second-degree murder. SLMPD says the other injured officer remains in the hospital but is in great spirits. St. Louis police officers are getting a pay raise. Hours ago, the city confirmed SLMPD and state-run Police Board of Commissioners signed a new collective bargaining agreement. The deal includes a 7% raise for both officers and sergeants, which raises salary for new officers with at least 2 years of experience. And this comes just a day after the city's Department of Personnel announced it would be recalibrating the citywide budget to integrate the city's charter mandatory public safety pay structure, which requires police and firefighters to be paid at the same rate. Today, hundreds of local students walked out of class to take part in the national protest against ICE. This is what today's protest looked like outside Webster Groves and Kirkwood High Schools. Students held signs, chanted, and told us they were using their voices to inspire others.
I feel like as high schoolers, we're always told, you are the future, you are the change, but we don't get many opportunities to actually show that. And so this was an opportunity. We said, hey, we can finally say we still have resources, we still can band together as young people. We don't need to be adults with jobs to know what to do.
Hundreds of students left school to march to City Hall before returning to class. Well, here's a live look over the U.S. Capitol, where we're less than an hour away from a partial government shutdown. Now, the shutdown would happen at midnight, but its impact would be limited since it's only happening over the weekend. It comes just hours after the Senate passed a spending bill to keep the government open. The bill funds about 3/4 of federal agencies through September. However, funding for the Department of Homeland Security would be extended just 2 weeks. Democrats pushed for the short-term extension to give Congress time to negotiate long-term changes to ICE. The bill now heads to the House, where a vote is expected on Monday. We are just 1 week away from the start of the Milan Cortina Winter Olympics. The games kick off with next Friday's opening ceremony. And 5 on your side is your home for the Olympics, and our Corey Miller will report from the games starting next week. You know, there are so many factors that go into making a bobsled fast, and a big one is science. David Greenberg takes us inside an Ohio laboratory where the speed is the name of the game.
We would do it, absolutely, in a heartbeat. There's sports, and there's science, and then there's sports science.
Yeah, I don't think it gets cooler than this.
That's where engineers at Honda's Automotive Laboratories of Ohio, or HALO, clock in.
I love speed, I love racing. I've been in it all my life.
Mike Unger is the director of the HALO Wind Tunnel, where they work on more than just cars.
So today we're working on developing a new body for Team USA bobsled.
With the help of this giant jet engine looking contraption.
At max wind speed, which is 310 kilometers an hour, it's spinning at about 250 RPM.
They simulate conditions to what bobsledders experience, approaching speeds of up to 90 miles an hour on the track.
Bobsledding in particular, it doesn't have engines, so it's about conserving momentum. Our athletes are working every day trying to improve their speed and their strength, and so now we're doing the other side of that of trying to help them improve their equipment.
Nicole Whiting is a senior aerodynamic engineer.
Yes.
And just like Olympians...
We done? Oh, okay. Sorry. I just got excited. I was ready.
She dedicates her life to her craft.
In middle school, I started my engineering journey. I went to a camp for people that are interested in math and science. From there, I started my path into aerospace engineering.
As this partnership has grown, so has her eye for proper form and technique.
I critique every single one of their runs, but not only for our athletes, I'm also watching all of the other countries to get ideas of what are their athletes doing and how can we do better.
What started as a unique idea is now an integral part in USA Bobsled's evolving success.
So our idea was we got to gather as much information as we possibly can, so that's what we did. We tested all the sleds they had and started talking to them in extreme detail about all of those little details to learn, because we're still learning today about this stuff.
If athletes wear uniforms, then theirs are white coats, because there wouldn't be a Team USA without them.
I'm so proud of all of our athletes, and also I am really proud because I've also helped shape their equipment and how they're going to be sitting in the sled and all of that. So it's really nice that we've had a part in their success.
And they're hoping sports plus science equals a gold medal.
The HALO team is already working on a new sled for the 2030 Winter Olympics in France. And right now on our free streaming app, we have several specials to get you ready for the big games. Watch them now by scanning the QR code that you see on your screen. It has been just over 8 months since the May 16th tornado touched down in North St. Louis. And this week, additional FEMA funding has been approved to help storm recovery efforts across Missouri and Kansas. Mercedes McKay breaks down where that money will go.
We have some good news when it comes to our recovery efforts here in the city of St. Louis from the May 16th tornado. FEMA just approved $23 million to help us out. So $19 million is going to go to the city, $1 million is going to go to the Board of Education, and $3.5 million is actually going to go to St. Louis Public Schools. If you remember, a lot of their schools got a lot of damage from the May 16th tornado, and that ended up costing the district over $77 million.
And we know the May 16 tornado forced many of our neighbors out of their homes. Today, the New Life Evangelistic Center tells us at least 15 tornado survivors who lost their homes in the storm are now on the streets, living in trailers, tents, and even this vacant building off Garfield Avenue. The center says teams are out giving them food, clothing, and even bus tickets to help them survive.
I'd like to see the city send people down and interview these individuals personally and help them at this particular time. There's so many people that are hurting out here, and they need to get out involved. These individuals aren't going to go to their committee meetings or their neighborhood meetings. These are the people that have fallen through the cracks. Some of them were in tents after the tornado hit, got too cold out there, so they've come here.
If you would like to help, New Life says it's accepting anything to keep people warm. That could be sleeping bags, blankets, hats, gloves, even firewood. You can drop off supplies at the center's Overland location, and that's right off Woodson Road. If you need a place to stay warm, we have a full list of shelters open across our region right now on KSDK.com. You can also send that link straight to your phone. Text warming to 314-425-5355. All right, meteorologist Lance Blocker is back, and you know, it's been cold in our area for so long, but we are not the only place where we have sub-zero temperatures.
Yeah, no doubt. It's been very cold. Check this out, though, Kelly. Stay up. Oh, she's gone. All right. Well, there's.
I can still hear you.
That's the snowflakes. These are the size of the snowflakes falling in Tennessee right now. This is courtesy of the National Weather Service. Look at the size of that thing. It's extremely cold across the deep south. They're contending with a winter storm down there. Look at that one right there. I've never seen ones that big like that, but very obviously very symmetrical there. Very cold air all the way down into Miami. They've got an extreme cold warning that is down south across pretty much the entire state of Florida. And then the winter storm warning there along the Carolinas into Georgia. So thankfully, we've got no snow falling from the sky across our area, but the snow that's on the ground is not going anywhere anytime soon with these temperatures in the teens across the region. 14 degrees for us here in town right now, 15 degrees in St. Charles. Litchfield checking in at 13. And with the wind outside, too, it's not a very gusty wind, but it is somewhat constant there between 5 to 10 miles per hour. That means wind chill factor looks like it's closer to 0. In fact, below 0 in a few locations. Chesterfield at 3 degrees right now. Tomorrow morning, dangerously cold weather to start out the day. Temperatures in the single digits. You factor in a northwest wind of 15 miles per hour. That means that your feels like temperature, that wind chill value will be close to -10 to -15 degrees. We get to the afternoon hours, 19 degrees, still going to feel like about 5 to 10 degrees. Still better than the early morning, but you'll of course need that heavy winter coat and likely some gloves as well. Over the next 7 days, we do warm up somewhat on Sunday, but during the afternoon hours, you can see 2 degrees for an overnight low on Saturday night into Sunday morning. So once again, wind chill factor below 0 possible for us to start out the day on Sunday. But once again, we get into the afternoon hours and things will feel less cold, just more chilly across the region. As you look into Monday, though, warming up, highs in the upper 30s. We do have one more system that's going to come through the region. It's somewhat inconsistent on how much of anything we'll get out of it. We're going to about a 30% chance of mostly snow at this point as we look ahead to Tuesday. But the rest of the week there should be pretty quiet. Didn't mean to hit that button. Now I hit this button. That's the right button I wanted to hit. No, I did it again. All right. Oh, I know why. All right, we'll leave it. I know why I did it. All right, we'll leave it right there. The end of the week, 39, 41 degrees. Great days to be outside. Tomorrow, not
so much.
That's right. I'm going to work on the button later.
Okay, get that button fixed.
That's right.
Okay, here's Zach Barnes with sports.
Yes, indeed. We have St. Louis basketball and some fantastic high school highlights, but the Flyers dueling. A duel with St. Louis. Highlights from Shea Fitz Arena coming up next. St. Louis men's basketball, to quote Mugatu, so hot right now. 14 straight wins for the Bills. They're one of the top defensive teams in all of college basketball. Let's get to those highlights if we can. Absolutely incredible start early on. Trey Green just doing big-time stuff for this St. Louis Billikens team. A hot hand in the game before did not change in this one. Later on, clear the runway for Quentin Jones. Put-back dunk with authority. Another look at it. That's a grown man's play, and yeah, thing's going swimmingly for the Bills. Student section alive tonight. Second half, Ishan Sharma had 18 off the bench, 6 of 8 from three-point land. St. Louis makes 17 triples. They score 100 for the 7th time this year. Head coach Josh Schertz says his team was composed and confident in this win.
I thought our guys did a great job of, find the balance of playing with emotion and not playing emotional. I think it's easy in a game like that when the crowd is so into it. It's a great team win, a great night, one I'll always remember because of everything that was into it. And so it was a great great night for us. And certainly again we have a deep respect for Dayton, so that's what makes it special.
Win for SLU. Friday we usually have 5 on your sideline. Today we get a modified version of it with 2 of the top games in the Lou. It's cold outside. You've been hearing that from Lance all day, but the action on the court, it should warm you up, Lord willing. Let's start things off. Chaminade hosting CBC. The Red Devils finding a little fire early. Tracy Collins with the steal and Johnny Jordan Jr. Nice physical move in the paint to get the 2. Cadets, what do you got? Tristan Howard, eyes up and in the right place. He feeds Jamani Harris for the 2. Harris, just a freshman, already 6'3". Kyron Jackson would just keep this scoring going for the team wearing black. Fantastic Euro step into the lane. This game stayed close, though. Elijah Pony Waz Back on the other end, elite feed to Isaac Newman in the corner. He makes it rain. Chaminade, foot on the gas. The Red Devils leaning on Jordan Jr. yet again. He gets this one to go. Came down to the wire, but Chaminade claims a 1-point win over the Cadets. Lafayette Lancers visiting the Flyers of Lindbergh. Alex Hessler going to start things off, rolling in from deep on top of the key all the way to the rack. 6'4" senior barrels in for the two. Flyers would keep aggression in the second half. How about Fred Ahmad, another senior, working inside, tough layup, gets it to go. Lindbergh barely ahead. Nice second chance points here coming though for Lafayette. Timothy Washington, my man knows, do not ever give up on the play. Board and the bucket to follow. Lancers crawling back, and the assault continued. Coleman Watson able to drive, fade back, create enough space, another deuce, but Lindbergh gets the dub in this neck-and-neck affair. They move to 14-5. And that will do it for sports this evening.
All right, thank you, Zach. We'll be right back. At the top of the show, we shared news with you that our longtime colleague, Deanne Lane, had passed away. We had a problem with the story, so now we want to air the story in its entirety.
I'm Deanne Lane. This is a special expanded edition of News Channel 5 at 10 o'clock.
Deanne Lane helped to build Channel 5. She was the daughter of a legendary broadcaster who became one herself over nearly 27 years.
We are coming to you live from the city's street department. You hit it right on the nose.
Her star started to shine immediately after her arrival in 1983 when she became the station's night beat reporter. You name the big story, and Deanne was all over it.
And Kay and Dan, it really is an overwhelming picture. Early this morning, there were only a few students showing up with flowers and balloons.
From Columbine to Hurricane Katrina to the Oklahoma City bombing. But it was her time on the anchor desk where St. Louis fell in love with her. She had just the right dose of energy, poise, professionalism, and compassion. The audience just felt like Deanne was a friend. And she was relentless, too, in trying to bring the story home.
Karen and Rick, as you know, police believe that Angie Hausman was abducted after she got off her school bus.
Deanne once lived on the streets of St. Louis for 5 days to give viewers a real idea of what it was like to be homeless.
That's what touches me the most. These people have nothing, but they'll share anything with me.
And when tragedy struck at Kirkwood City Hall, she was there. But for her colleagues, we won't remember her as much for her incredible career on camera, but her personality off camera. Deanne Lane was a trusted friend who always had your back.
I'm not used to doing the square one.
You don't think the boss is watching, do you?
Somebody says, I saw your night beat report last night, and well, you really handled that little boy well. And they know what I did, and they know what I said. And that, to me, really makes me feel good.